You're listening to Two Chunks in a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks in a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your chunk.
I'm Doge, and did you know that the average sewer hunk can chew through a steel drain pipe?
And I'm Carter. Guns, murderers, and crooked chunks? I was made for this, bro.
Doge, I can't help but notice that you introduced yourself as the hunk. You want to tell us why?
What's that about? Because of the hunk of whatever that was that just belched from his mouth.
Yeah, in case the noise gate caught that, I did just do a big ol' belch.
And just cut it out also.
That's why I'm the hunk.
So, detail the hunk that just came out of you for our listeners.
Let's see, what we're working with is we obviously today I had a cookie for breakfast.
I can see that.
And it was from Witch, and it was very good. It said Courtney's cookie on the back, but it was Doja's cookie by the time I was done with it.
Hey now.
Oh, you're an all-star.
I got my game on, and I went to play with two halves of a Witch sandwich for lunch.
Excellent. Both halves.
Both halves of it.
Really, the whole thing.
The whole half. Each whole half. And then about a couple hours later, I had a piece of Palio's pizza for a snack, and also
for lunch.
Another half of a sandwich, and also a little square of a brownie.
Wow!
And then
you really probably
about 30 minutes ago, had some chicken strips and Frenchy fries, and right now I'm drinking a Coke Zero because I'm trying to watch my figure.
Hence the hunk.
The hunk.
Are you though? Kind of heard everything else you ate today. So.
No, Coke Zero is negative calories.
Oh,
it absorbs the other
things.
calories.
Okay, cool.
Whoa,
that's
so
that
it's
low
really-
hum I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just your fat burning away.
It's like Coke
Amazing.
Black Hole.
That's why I'm always sweaty. If you see me and you're like, why is he so shiny? It's because I drink Coke. I'm always burning fat.
You're burning like a neutron star, my man.
I'm a red dwarf.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I would have gone more like a pale
Orc.
Yeah,
A
you're
pale
the
orc.
pale
I'm
orc.
the pale orc.
Yeah, that's you.
Pale orc.
Hey, Jordan, as we start our episode, I have questions, and only one person can answer them in one specific place.
Only one.
Who and where?
It is Jordan in Jordan's car corner.
Who, me? Yeah, I'd love to.
It's Jordan Wonder's car corner. Or Jordan Wonders. Jordan Wonders answers all your car-related questions and queries.
Trucks. Yeah, let's go for it.
Go. Oh, we need to ask questions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just going to impart some of your
Yeah.
special knowledge on
look,
us.
You know what? No, you know why I kept my mouth shut?
Tell me.
Because usually when it's car stuff, don't act like you can't read my mind about my
That's
questions.
true. Actually,
So-
that's what I'm going to do right now.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Go.
I'm going to read your mind for the question you want to ask, then I'm going to answer it.
Go.
Your question is, I keep getting, windshield wipers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
is your question, okay, I'm getting windshield wipers. Did you have some windshield wipers in your past, maybe?
Wow.
Maybe caused some problems. Okay, I got it.
Wow,
So your question is, what is the fluid that goes inside of the windshield wiper sprayer?
Yeah.
I'm really thankful that you asked. Super simple answer. Milk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
A lot of
kind?
people don't know.
What kind of nipple we talking?
Trout. It's trout milk. It's trout milk.
And trout milk flows upstream, right?
Only in the winter.
Uphill in the spring,
Yeah.
upstream in the winter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Here's my question. In Fast and Furious, whenever a small car drives under a big car, is it nursing? Is it drinking milk from its mommy car?
I'm glad you asked, Doge. When a smaller car approaches the mother car, you're actually correct. It is nursing.
Okay.
But what's happening there is actually an ancient ritual that, frankly, we're very fortunate to be able to see.
Wow. Okay.
Rarely captured on film.
Yeah.
What happens is the baby car knocks twice, and the mother car then opens up the undercarriage to accept the baby car.
It's like a speakeasy.
It's like a speakeasy for car milk.
Okay.
Not to be confused with trout milk. The car is actually producing her own milk.
Follow-up questions. How do cars choose their mom? Because they're born when they drive from garages. How do they choose their mom on the road?
Common misconception. You reveal your
my
ignorance,
goodness.
my sir.
I'm so glad that we have.
My sir.
I can't believe we were able to book
Misconception,
you.
a pun.
Yep.
As should be apparent to you listening at home right now, obviously we're talking about the most wonderful movie ever made, known to the public as Too Fast, Too Furious.
I'm not kidding. I almost said 2 Cars, 2 Furious.
That's excellent. So,
Which were a lot of scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
since you're clearly revving up,
Yeah.
car guy, to talk about this
Car
movie,
guy.
why don't you go ahead, Doge? Would you please hit us with the synopsis?
I sure will. Too Fast, Too Furious continues the story
Yes.
of legendary race car driver Conan O'Brien. In this movie,
Brian O'Connor.
Brian O'Conan is recruited by what are they? I guess they're customs.
It's like
US
a mix
Customs?
between them and the FBI. I
Yeah.
guess.
He's recruited by the government to essentially expose this drug lord guy in Miami because he's moved to Miami. He kind of fled from LA after he essentially flipped on his boss and let Dom Toretto go. So they've recruited him to track down this drug lord and expose him. And he selects for his partner in this mission his good childhood friend, Roman Pierce.
Roman Rears.
Rears.
They are tasked to work with Eva Mendes. And I don't remember her character's name.
Monica, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, I think
It's Monica.
Monica. Yeah, and that she's actually playing the same character as Courtney Cox in Friends.
Which got confusing to me because I kept
'cause
being
later-
like, where's Chandler?
Yeah.
I
Well,
was wondering that too.
so they're tasked to work with Monica, who is quite literally in bed with this drug lord.
Yes.
And so together, Brian O'Conan and Rome and Monica are working to expose the evil deeds and wrongdoings of this drug lord.
His name.
What's his name? Carter.
Is
Are you
Carter
serious?
Verone.
You
His
didn't
name's
remember his name?
Yeah.
Ah, silly.
I didn't remember his name. I'm not great with character names in movies that
He
I
has
don't
the same
enjoy.
name as our one friend.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy used to be on our show.
Yeah. What a cool.
Yeah,
What a cool
wow.
dude.
Yeah. So every Carter that I know is a drug lord.
Yes, I do know that.
Whoa.
I do know that.
Slow
so,
down.
are we talking about this movie?
Let's talk about this movie.
Can we talk about the weirdest opening scene of all time?
Are you talking about like objectification station?
Yes, dude.
Oh my gosh.
This movie was, I thought it was impossible to be worse than the first movie when it came to just like, let's plaster as many women on this screen in as little clothing as possible. But here we are.
Yeah, how many of us had any of us seen this one yet? Did we all see this one for the first time?
I think I saw it on TV once.
I have
It's
never
so
I have never seen
funny
this.
that when we talked about the last movie, all the things that we hated the most and made the most fun of were like turned all the way up to 11.
Dude,
Yeah.
So here's what I keep thinking about this movie. I've never watched a sequel to a movie that felt more like a fan-made parody of the original.
Yes.
Like this movie felt like if the Scary Movie crew had made a knockoff of the first Fast and Furious, but they were in high school when they made it.
Oh my gosh.
That's what this movie.
But somehow also they got Paul Walker to be in their version.
somehow Paul
Yeah.
Walker got worse.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand what
Guys,
happened in this movie.
He lost skill. He was at 0 skill and he lost skill.
Like I've never seen lines delivered as flatly as I did in this movie, but I'm talking specifically group of people jumping out of a pickup truck, about 12 strong,
yeah.
to put up
Yeah.
2 cones.
Yep.
Yeah. They're very heavy cones.
They don't have time. You don't have when you're making a movie this epic and there's so much going into it. Like when you know it's a history making type thing, you
Yeah.
don't really have time for the little stuff like that. And I'm going to give them that.
Okay,
you know?
I hear that. I hear that.
I'm
And
gonna
I-
give
What you
them
got to think? What you got to think about is in the big epics of humanity,
Sure.
things like the Odyssey, things like the Trojan War,
The Iliad.
all of those stories could have been, they could have been about like 1 or 2 guys, but they put so many guys in those stories.
That's
and
what's important.
That's what they got to do for a modern epic like
Basically.
this.
good character really comes down to quantity over quality.
So much. Yeah. Why is quality even in the vernacular? It
Yeah.
shouldn't be
What's
there.
the point?
Right.
You know what I mean?
For example, not to jump ahead, but to jump ahead, there's about 1,000 police cars
There
in
are
every
about
police
1,000
station in this
police cars.
movie.
Well, it's
1,000.
because 1,000 is scarier than 3. just to pick up another number.
and more realistic. I
Sure.
remember when I was going 45 and a 40. I think the whole town of Lampasas, Texas.
Yeah, about 900.
About 900.
Yeah.
People were painting their normal cars to look like cop cars. Just like if no one else will, someone needs to stop this guy.
Which honestly, shout out to civic duty.
Right.
That's beautiful to me.
Right?
That's really beautiful to me. But I want to point out again, this movie commits the most atrocious sin right off the bat, which is we're introduced to the character of Tej while a ludicrous song plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
And at first I was like, well, it's just part of the soundtrack. But then they go into a scene where it's clearly coming out of one of the cars.
Yeah.
People are like dancing to it.
I can excuse it if it's like, well, it's like, it's not in world.
Right.
But it was clearly in world.
Clearly in world.
Honestly, these jumps in logic just make the whole premise of this movie seem ludicrous.
Nice. Speaking of jumps, have you guys ever seen, besides the infamous Taken 3 fence jump, have you guys ever seen so many rapid
answer's no.
fire jump cuts?
Oh my
of
gosh.
jump
Yeah,
cuts.
that was a serious, it's not my super dump, but that was a serious contender for my super dump is how sloppy this editing is.
Yeah.
It's like they felt the need that every time any character did anything, the camera had to be on them. I think whoever's editing this had never heard of a reverse angle.
Yeah.
And there's a great chance that if you're listening to this, you're not familiar with a reverse angle. Basically, imagine that I'm talking to Jordan right now, and while I'm still talking to him, we cut to a camera shot that is over my shoulder on his face as he's nodding and licking his lips, and there's tears, but that's a reverse shot. That's a reaction
Right, yeah.
shot. And whoever edited this movie is obviously not familiar with the concept.
Sure. And it's nauseating.
Yeah. Oh my
To
gosh.
watch.
It's exhausting. It makes me dizzy.
so
And
exhausting.
it causes every scene to be about 8 minutes longer than it should.
Jeez.
Speaking of, we have our kind of opening race where Racer bails and Tej is like, can I bring in anybody? And the group of Need for Speed stereotypes are like, yes, please. And then Tej is like, cool, calls in Brian. Brian shows up. They're like, Brian, oh no, we should have said no. And then Brian O'Connor utters the line, hey, how about we go in for a nickel?
God.
Jeez.
I'm not sure what a nickel is. I don't know if it's 500. I don't know if it's 5,000. I don't know if it's
I think
actual nickels.
It's actual nickel.
Well,
He
they
was only paid 5 cents for
you-
that race.
Do you mean a nickel or the substance nickel?
No, it's a real nickel. It's like it's one of
Well,
them.
then they really overreacted to how much money they had to put in on this race.
I've been really knocking Paul Walker a lot for this character of Brian, but maybe he would have just done so much better. Maybe it was just this juxtaposition of the character he was supposed to be, but the name the character has been given.
Yeah.
Like when they were like, oh no, it's Brian. It's just like, like none of it felt like,
Yeah.
and what kind of,
It's like
oh,
it's like if you're what's the word? Your femme fatale is
Yeah.
like here comes Deborah.
yeah, it's
It's like,
just,
oh, Deborah, really? Yeah.
Hey,
Brian's
if you're
not great.
listening and your name is Deborah, we are very sure that you are a beautiful and confident woman.
for sure.
Or a dude with a woman's name.
And which, more power to you.
Which
shout out
own
to
it.
Deborah.
But we touched on this a little bit last week. It really, really does feel like Paul Walker was cast in the wrong movie. Like he's a
Yes.
weird choice for this
Yes,
role.
yes.
And like this character, Brian O'Connor, does not exist in this world.
No.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
He
it doesn't
exist in
fit.
any world.
So this
Yeah.
is a good time for me to ask you guys a question.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it walks a really fine line between like a joke of a question
Yeah.
and a legitimate question.
Welcome to 2 Chunks and a
Yeah.
Hunk.
Okay, here's our
So-
podcast.
Paul Walker, what if Brian, what if this character,
Sure.
I'm asking you, how much more interesting would this entire series be? Legitimately, how much more interesting would this be? And how many more layers would it have
Yep.
if Brian O'Connor
Yep.
was a mute and didn't talk at all?
I would say 100 more interesting.
100 more interesting, but still the same number of layers.
Yeah.
I think because
I don't know.
he's functionally a mute in the script, though. Like
it's
he's an
he
emotional
could not
mute. Yeah.
even act like he was breathing well. Like, it was so bad. And I just can't hold it in anymore. Almost as if like I know somebody who hurt my family and we're standing in front of the cops and it's like, why have I kept my mouth shut? I'm super dumping now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Get it.
I'm going to tell you a name and I'm going to super dump all over this name. You there, Garrett Scott Thompson. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
Nope.
Garrett Scott Thompson was the character writer
Oh,
He wrote the characters.
Garrett, no.
I could read off
Gare
to you
Bear.
the other times he has been a character writer, like the other movies, and it would sound something like this because of how you have never heard of them. He wrote for Flim Flop and a Jube Jap.
Okay, yeah.
He was a writer for Timno Fram Frams.
That's my mom's favorite.
Yeah, and Cars. And so
Yeah,
he didn't write for Cars. Super dumb, this guy.
Garrett,
like he doesn't know how to because I don't know.
No, Carter,
Garrett Scott.
I-
Scott. I don't care.
I'm angry that you just did this because my super dump is going to fit into yours like a Tetris piece to another
Oh my
Tetris
gosh.
piece. It's not the same thing, but it is effectively the same thing, and I was going to save it. But you've done it. You've uncorked the bottle. So
much
here I
dumping
go.
right now. We can't hold it in.
My super dump for this movie is literally every character that was ever on the screen throughout the entirety of this movie.
It's so bad.
First and foremost being Suki. Suki was
Yeah.
almost my super dump because every time she was on screen, I felt physical discomfort at how bad she was.
Have you guys seen the poster for this movie?
No,
Yes.
I'm not sure I want
In
to.
the poster for this movie, Suki looks like she weighs about 400 pounds.
Wait, what?
She looks enormous.
What?
Yep.
We are looking up the poster to this movie. Do it on your own time right now.
Quick, someone keep talking while I
I'm gonna
Google.
keep talking because here's the thing about the characters in this movie.
Tell me.
And I'm mine. This is all encompassing. I mean the writing. I mean the acting. I mean the presence. I mean the fact that they exist.
Yep.
Like everything about every person on screen in this movie was offensive to me.
Yeah.
The FBI.
I just showed Jordan the poster of
Let me see the
Chubby
poster.
Suki.
Kim Jong Suki.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
Wow.
it's just like she's like a very
You know what they
thin
say?
and
They say,
in
they say
shape
the
person.
poster adds 250 pounds.
Yeah, they do say that.
Yeah, it also makes Eva Mendes look a little bit like Javier Bardem.
There was not a good. There was not a good anything about this movie.
No, and so like you have these actors that, you know, a couple of them at least, that I know are decent. I can't remember his name, but the guy that plays Dexter's dad,
Sure.
he does a great job in Dexter.
Yes.
I like him. You have Eva Mendes. I've seen her in plenty of things where I'm like, great job. Yeah, you did fine.
Yeah.
Somehow this movie is I would wager that if you went through the filmography of every single actor and actress in this movie,
Yeah.
this is their low point
Yeah.
for all of them. This is
Gotta
every
be.
single person at their career worst.
You know what that buys you? You know what that gets for you? $237 million.
Oh my gosh.
That's unbelievable.
$237 million. Granted, this time the budget went from 38 to 54 million
Oh, okay, so
because of all the money they had to spend on
Because
an
there's more
exploding
because there's
door.
trucks now.
no,
there's-
because
there
there's
are
before it was just
CGI.
cars. Dude, you have tricked me. You have led me here. My super dump. We're
We're blowing up.
we're blasting all of our nos right now. My super
Downhill
dump.
cheese.
My super dump
Downhill
is how not nos the CGI was in this
Oh my
movie. This is among the worst visual effects that I have ever seen
This
in
movie
a movie.
is coming out around the same time that Gollum was on our theater
Yeah.
screens.
2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
What did
after
they spend the money on? No,
was
let's
a-
find it. Do you
yeah.
want to find it? Let's find the money. Where did they spend?
No, not really. Let's talk about this, Doge. Because here's where I think the money was. Our two big juicy stunts.
You talking about both ramps?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Both of those ramps looked exactly. The physics of those jumps were exactly the physics of the final jump from Nacho Libre when he jumps off the corner of the wrestling cords and soars through the air to tackle Ramses.
Okay, well then, do you want me to blow your skull wide open?
Do it.
No.
Rock this gourd.
The second jump, the one onto the boat, was a practical effect. They
I-
built the ramp. They jumped the car.
I have obeyed these laws of physics that we're all familiar with on this plane for 2.5 decades. And I refuse to believe that a real car did those real things on this real planet where I live.
Well, and let's go ahead. Let's jump it back to this opening race, which, by the way, is the first 14 and a half minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Which is insane. But we have this stunt that right off the bat, right out the gate, sets the tone for this movie as parody. I don't
Yeah.
like. I watched the jump where Paul Walker downhill juices his car over his opponent's vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, amazing.
And gives us a solid Han Solo wahoo from the cockpit of his European style driver side car for no reason. And as they're soaring through
That
the
was
air,
why the budget, it cost them $20 million to import that car from Australia.
So do you know what movie I thought of when this happened?
me.
You guys seen Heavyweights?
Yeah.
The go-kart race at the end?
Oh,
it's the same move.
They stole it.
He heavyweights it. It's the same move from Heavyweights.
Is Heavyweights older than this?
It is.
Yeah, they stole it.
Too heavy, two weights.
Too heavy,
you
two
guys.
weights.
Two
dude.
heavy, two weights.
I'd watch that for sure.
Just Heavyweights starring Paul Walker.
No, let's not have any more. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. So outside of, and I want to call them out on this. And we're not going to have enough time, and I'm not going to remember all the things I should call this movie out on. But I talked about it being objectification station.
Sure.
Yeah.
So many stereotypes, guys.
Outrageous.
real.
Like, it made me
So
uncomfortable.
Many stereotypes. And I'm trying to think of movies that do that, but they're like a parody, you know? I feel like Tarantino's done things like that before, but this was like... But this movie made so much money worldwide that maybe no one got offended. Like, they enjoyed that. They're like, yeah, that's us.
I'm going to write it off as different times, maybe.
Maybe, man. Maybe
I mean,
that's what
it's like
it
a
is.
full 15 years ago. I don't know, man.
That is the thing, because there's so much of this like style of movie that really just feels like a relic of like the turn of the millennium. You know what I mean? And so I'm super interested to see. I'm honestly really excited for the tone to shift into what the trailers have led me to believe the newer ones are like.
Yeah, I can tell you. I think the shift happens in Fast 5.
Oh my gosh, we
Yeah,
still
we got
have
a minute
two
to go, I
more.
think.
Right, because the ratings just spike around that time too, like legitimate like critic ratings.
Oh yeah,
I wanted to look ahead just to look for like light glimmers.
yeah, just
you
a
know?
silver lining anywhere.
But it definitely it looks like the history of everything is this one, and unfortunately, our next one, Tokyo Drift, were the bottom of the barrel. Were the worst.
yeah,
because I mean, you know, I super pumped Letty.
yeah.
Doge,
She's not here.
Doge super pumped Dom.
Yeah,
He gone.
Yeah,
they're all
Why
gone.
didn't and it's
Jordan
because we're
super
outside
pumped
of it.
Paul Walker.
I stand
Yeah.
by it for movie 1.
Yeah.
I don't take it back. I'm not ashamed of what I did. But here in this place,
He has betrayed you.
oh, he has.
It's so bad.
And I want to talk about Paul Walker for a second, actually,
Okay.
because he delivers a couple of lines in this movie
Oh yeah.
that might be the flattest deliveries and the most cringe-inducing deliveries of lines I've ever heard.
Yeah,
in my
I would
life.
have preferred they like dubbed over his line.
Yeah, with anyone else.
with just opening a cabinet
Yeah,
door.
just-
Like I,
Yeah.
like oh I get.
Oh
okay.
yeah, nice, Paul.
It's about to go down. It's about to go down.
And Paul's just like,
Yeah, would have been
Okay,
much better.
what if similar to your idea of him being a mute, but what if instead he talks exclusively in noises like that and he looks like Abu, the monkey from Aladdin?
Please,
Ooh,
please.
yeah, I can see
Okay.
that.
Please.
And we get Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about these two, in particular, these two lines. At one point, Paul Walker, when he is talking, sorry, let's go by character names. Conan O'Brien, when he is speaking to Poman Rears, when they are leaving the FBI Customs crossover office, Poman Rears is like, hey, Conan, what is your deal, man? And Conan says, just drop it. I don't want to talk about it.
That
And
was
then-
such a good Paul
And then-
Walker.
oh, I know. I've been practicing. And then Poman goes, nah, tell me. And Conan says, I said forget about it, cuh. But with that inflection, that exact I said
actually,
forget
you
about it,
You
cuh.
did so much better.
Oh, thank
just
you.
now.
Thank
like
you.
I get now. I think you've kind of brought the entire plot together for me.
I like
and
this
my
movie.
rating in my head has
went up.
changed. So
Well,
just get ready.
I got another one for you. And I would argue that I'm better at this impression of this line. Here we go. I've done this one 500 times over the last 2 days. At one point, Paul Walker literally says, with this exact inflection, here we go.
Yes, I remember it well.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Nobody has ever said that phrase in that way. It was like,
So
here we
can
go,
you-
or
no, look,
here we go.
Give me
but
the real
here we
life
go.
situation, whether that means you're exhausted after hiking for a long time. Like, what makes you say it that way?
I have it.
Give it to me.
You've been standing in line at a Kroger that's busy, one line open. You haven't been in line for too long,
Right.
but you're just about tired of it. And then it
Yeah.
moves forward to your turn and you go, here we go.
Or maybe it's even the same when you're in that same situation, except person in front of you was like, "Oh no, I forgot." Pulls out a book of coupons. And you're like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah,
Nice.
it feels like exasperated, but a little ready for
I feel
combat.
like we're accidentally putting too much emotion into it.
We are.
yeah.
We're just trying way too hard.
What's your 3 names serial killer guy that you dumped?
My who?
Your super dump guy with a serial killer name?
Garrett
Garrett.
Thomas.
Like Paul Walker in this movie has the emotional and acting range of a bowling ball. Just here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah. Dialogue all around in this movie, though. Like, let's not pretend that Paul Walker's alone in
No,
having
certainly
horrible
not.
lines.
Certainly not. But this movie, I mean,
Did David Ayer write it again?
no, he did not. Shocking,
Smart move, Davey.
but no, he did not.
You got out.
With the abundance of racial stereotypes, you would think David Ayer
I would
wrote it.
think David Ayer,
But
because
no,
I've
he
seen
did not.
Suicide Squad.
Yep.
I mean, I guess do we need to move forward?
Yeah, let's talk about more of this movie.
But
I
where do
guess.
we go? I guess. You know?
What is different about it? I mean, we have. So they go to pick up Roman. Like we
Yeah.
haven't really got to that point yet.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not
At the
it happens-
demolition derby?
It's
Which
so
never
easy.
comes back.
What do you mean?
Never once does he use his demolition derby skills to crash cars.
He sure does, my boy. He puts a rock on the gas
He
pedal
does.
of a car and crashes some police vehicles.
But I wouldn't call that a throwback to demolition derby at all.
Then you are not trying to fix this movie's mistakes for it.
I guess
Because I will call that a throwback in the same way that I will call the ramp jump at the end a payoff from foreshadowing that we got at the beginning of this movie.
Did we ever see Roman's ankle bracelet again? His anklet?
I think
They took it
Customs
off.
removed it.
They took it off.
moved it before
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah,
thing happened.
because there's a very long shot that if I were editing this would have cut down significantly, where he gets out of a car and
Rubs his ankle?
spends about 6 seconds rubbing his ankle.
Yeah.
there
it's
were
a
a
long
lot of
time.
long shots.
Yeah.
This could have been a 20-minute movie.
And actually, real quick, I want to go ahead and zero in on something about this movie that I'm just not remembering.
Go.
The magic police tridents
Yes.
that they fire into cars to shut down all the electronics
Yes.
that don't exist in the
What
real world.
on earth?
no.
Why would they create this random supervillain technology for the police in a Fast and Furious sequel?
Yeah.
Once again, this is the type of thing that really makes me feel like this was originally written to be like Scary Movie 5, Cars Edition.
Yeah.
Like something that is parodying the original.
And would it have made it any better if we like saw someone trying to smuggle the super weapon or
Like if that was like a big thing, maybe?
What if
we
that's
hear
what they were
about it.
trying to steal for him? What if they weren't trying to steal money? They were trying to steal the weapon that the cops used against him.
are we saying the Fast and the Furious was like the peak of like, oh man, this street racing stuff's getting really bad. It's time to step our game up. Are we supposed to be like, as the audience is like, oh, that's because of how crazy things are in the nation with street racing.
Yeah.
They had
These
to
street
step it
racers
up
are just getting out of
with a
hand.
bazooka hook lightning.
Here is
Dude, unreal.
speaking of just the weird, like the weird police presence in this movie. I'm gonna say something that may make me sound like a square. I feel sort of uncomfortable with the fact that the message of these movies, I mean, thus far, and looks to continue this way, the message of these movies that is that if you break the law together, then that makes you family. And that's a good thing that we want people to do.
I would argue that these movies at no point assert that you should take any lessons from them.
Yes.
I to get like really philosophical about the nature of art, though, I feel like that is implicit in all art.
I hear you.
I think there have been some movies though when cops are breaking the law together, and that I think of when you said that, I instantly thought of the Lethal Weapon series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, they're skirting the law
yeah.
but it's for the betterment. I mean, I guess Paul Walker, I guess, Brian and Roman are doing these kind of things for good ultimately. Like they're helping the cops.
It really is like a ends justify the means kind of thing, which I guess that can work in fiction if done really well.
But here's the problem with this movie, especially. Paul Walker's Conan O'Brien has no story arc in this.
Yeah.
There is no growth.
Maybe that's
does
the
not
thing that
change.
makes him feel like he's a popsicle stick to me.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there was going to be something dynamic between him and Roman because Roman was like, you remember what you did to me 3 years ago? I had to serve in prison for that.
Yeah.
But then Roman reveals later, he was like, actually, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, never
so
do
they were like,
anything, man.
it's
It's-
like our guy, 3-name guy, or whoever wrote
Garrett.
it was like,
Gary.
oh, crap.
I
We've
forgot
spent,
to tie that loose.
well, we've
end.
already spent $54 million. I don't know if we can take away that race for, Fonzie and Fabio. They were great.
Oh my
Everybody's going to love
gosh.
Fonzie and Fabio.
Yeah.
Dude,
Jeez.
what on earth was that drag race
They were
circle
looking
back?
for reasons to race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It was
They
like-
raced them for possession of their cars.
Like a
essentially.
scene that they cut was, Roman and Brian are sitting down one of those mornings, the random mornings where they show up on a houseboat.
Yeah.
And they're pouring cereal or pours the Count Chocula. And he's like, I forgot milk. You did what? And then they just start
They raced
racing.
to the
Yeah,
milk store.
they cut that one because this other one made more sense.
Speaking of cut scenes, I feel like just to kind of skip around to the end because what through line?
Yeah, what
there?
is linear storytelling at
But-
this point?
But the dude that rides in Conan's car, when he tells him like, take the wheel so I can pull this pitchfork out of my car, he says, I can't drive. I can't drive. At what point in the movie, I feel like we would have really benefited there from early on in the movie, that guy being like, I don't drive. I don't have my license. Like something. To where, like, at this moment-
I don't know which one is the gas.
Like you can. I think these writers don't understand like just natural like reaction from people because I would have been fine if he was like, actually, the reason I'm not going to do this is not because I can't drive, but because this is crazy. This is a
Yes.
crazy idea. I'm not just putting my hand over
Yeah.
with all these cops behind us. Like, no, man, you're nuts. But no, it's I can't drive.
Gosh.
Or he gives us this long background. He was like, I used to, but one time I got in a wreck, and then it was bad because I lost my pup.
Every time
and
I
all these
touch the
things."
steering wheel, I get a pretty crazy anxiety attack.
Yeah,
like, watch
it's-
me right now. I'm like, please don't make
as
me
long
do
as
it.
we're going science fiction, what if we give him a metal arm and he's going to get shocked if he touches the
Seriously,
steering wheel?
if we have magic car shutdown tridents that can shoot out of cannons,
Yep.
why can't we have cyborg arms?
yeah.
You know what? You know what the real problem with this movie is? They didn't lean hard enough into the sci-fi. If they're gonna go sci-fi, why not go all the way?
Go all the way.
I know that you're joking.
Am I?
But like that is the thing with these movies is they don't lean hard enough any direction.
I'm being
and
serious.
They just ride fences. And like
What's so fun? Like, if something ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous happened, I would have liked this movie more.
yeah.
Like, if there's like a cut scene and one of the cops gets shot and just evaporates,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
I want
That's
to point
funny.
out that you just said cutscene
Yeah,
because this movie feels so much like a bad video game.
it really does.
I think that's why you just default.
I mean,
to calling
starting
it a
with the
cutscene.
stereotypes,
Yeah.
everything about each one of those cars too glowed a certain color.
Yes.
But there's ways to do that really
Glowed?
cool.
Is that the past tense of
Glue.
Oh, that's my bad. Yeah,
Is it? No, is it?
it is glowed.
It's glued.
No, it's glowed.
Glued.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You said glowed.
I said glowed.
I just didn't know.
Glue.
Was this all a setup? You fiend! But it was like, it almost seemed like coming from behind it, like the exhaust was going to be that color. Like
Yeah.
everything about it. And you look at the posters and stuff, and it was like, this is the vibe we're going for. Suki's pink. Pitbull's red. Chris Brown is yellow. Paul
Yeah.
Walker's blue. It was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to take a quick MPAA break.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Did y'all look up why this is rated PG-13?
No.
Sure didn't.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the huge first.
Hit
we
me.
got, and these aren't. I'll go backwards.
Okay.
right. There's 4 things listed. I'll go from what's listed last.
Okay.
Some sensuality.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of it.
Check. Language.
Check.
Okay. Yeah.
Some really like they didn't even cuss well.
They
in this
did the
movie.
S one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Violence.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, one dude at the beginning of this movie gets
crushed to death,
by
right?
an 18-wheeler.
I mean, he
and the
died,
18-wheeler
right?
doesn't stop.
Nobody acknowledged it. And then later on, they intentionally go out of their way to not just like kill the 2 thugs.
Yeah.
It's
The dude
so
was- I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Bro, at the beginning of this movie, a man in a car is driving and he is run over and crushed to death underneath the tires of an 18-wheeler.
I mean, he's dead. And he is dead.
Listen to me, look me in the eyes. Every single car on the road continues to drive,
Including the cops.
as if they live in a world where they're just like, man, he shouldn't have got too close to that 18-wheeler.
He really brought it on himself.
That sometimes happens when you drive. Better put my seatbelt on.
And before we get to the last MPAA
Yes,
rating, I
yes.
want to point out that Doge just said, maybe for the first time in his life, but at least for the first time since I've known him, the word bro.
Yeah,
And it's because he got a little Paul Walker in his
I did. I
bloodstream,
almost called you
think.
cuh.
Check this out.
The number one reason this was rated PG-13.
Give it to me.
I want y'all to trust me enough to not look this up.
Okay.
Street racing. My friends, This was rated PG-13 because oh no, those kids aren't going to be able to handle all this street racing. If you're 12, no, this is too much street racing for you, man. You better bring a parent.
What?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know that was a viable rating
I found
option.
it in multiple places. First of all, I was like, IMDb is not going to lie to me. Like they have legitimate sources, but then I looked at other places, street racing.
It's like, that is, you know why the movie Predator's rated R? The Predator.
The Predator. Yeah.
That Iron Man is PG-13 because I'm superheroes.
Yeah. It's just so
unbelievable.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Can they just make anything up to put in that little box?
Apparently.
Or is it like a checklist? Check all that apply.
I have no idea.
While we're talking about just weird things about this movie in general,
Yeah.
I want you guys to know that earlier, a couple minutes ago, whenever I Googled to see that chubby picture of Suki on the poster, I found the tagline for this movie.
Oh.
The tagline for this movie is, "How fast do you like it?" And my answer is 0.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I can't think of a worse tagline for this movie.
I think I could.
Because, well, Too Fast, Too Furious is already a tagline.
No. Let's do this.
Oh, God.
Let's come up with a worse tagline than How Fast Do You Like It? I'll go first. Too Fast, Too Furious. Suki's in this one.
All right, I got you second. Too Fast, Too Furious. Better than the first one.
Too Fast, Too Furious. The same one again.
That's my favorite.
You saw it once. Now watch it twice.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Pay us your new money for the same movie.
Eat your food twice.
So I think it's time. I think this is the perfect time because many of these characters are worth just kind of blowing over.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I hope Carter's a good villain. He wasn't.
He was not.
That's what we said whenever we asked you to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we're like,
He
I hope
wasn't.
Carter's
Gosh, I hope
villain.
Carter's a good villain.
We need a foil.
Let me tell you the number one reason why Carter's not a good villain. Just throw away the rat in the pail.
Okay.
Just use a blowtorch.
Yep.
It's like
the
it's like
point?
he walks in with like an AK. All right, he walks in with a gun.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's just like, hold him down. He takes the bullets out of the gun and starts shoving them down his mouth. And then he kind of tickles him a little bit. He's like, the more I tickle you, the chances it's going to blow up inside of you. He's like, no, you're taking it too much. I'll tell you everything. It's like, why did he make it so hard? It's like, no, don't. Oh, did you forget his rat? I want to see these guys because they're dumb enough to not drive. Yeah. Like, I left the rat, man. What are we going to do now? Like, what? Were we supposed to be disturbed by this?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
It's biting me.
Yeah, I think. And do you notice when they pulled the pail off, it literally looked like somebody had just taken their fingernails and been like,
Yes.
Like a
I was
couple
like,
of-
this better be
underneath
good.
a couple of
Show me
scratches.
some guts.
yeah. Here's the. I have a question about this actor. Does his like writer say, "I will only ever play a dirty cop"?
Maybe.
That is the
think
only
so.
role I have ever seen him.
Yeah, I feel like the casting director was like, you know that clown from The Simpsons? What if he didn't have makeup on? Let's
the
get
cop.
him. Yeah, he can be the cop. Like it was, that's all he's made. But they tried to give this guy layers. They tried harder to give this guy layers than they did to Brian.
Yeah.
Because when he's doing the walkie-talkie call, which let's talk about walkie-talkies soon.
Yeah, walkie-talkies
When
are
he's doing the
mysterious
walkie-talkie
technology.
call, he's like looking up at the shrine to his family that has
Right.
been like, you better watch out because I want to see Carter try and put a whole family down with rat pails on their bellies.
By the way,
It's just one big pail.
oh my god,
one of my favorite, and by favorite I mean most annoying, but one of my favorite movie tropes is family shrine at work.
Yes.
Where it's just like, you know how everybody at their work just kind of like builds an altar to their family? No,
Yeah.
you don't know that because that's not a thing.
yeah, it's
It's like the ofrendas in Coco. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It really is. It's just like, no, I had to build this at my desk so my family could pass on to the next life.
yes, exactly.
It's bizarre.
I want you guys to help me with something else. So something happens, and I legitimately thought that 2 or 3 times because I was sleepy when I was watching this,
Sure.
or maybe I wasn't. Maybe I got sleepy
Maybe the
watching
movie
this.
just has that effect.
You're sleepy
Yeah.
because of this,
Yeah.
I think.
So
This movie
There was a
kinda felt like
cut that was
fever
so
dream.
bad and jumped so much, I thought I had fallen asleep. And I had to rewind a couple of times. So something happens
I know what you're talking about.
before the thugs get them on the houseboat. Wait. Do you remember when
Yes.
did Roman and Brian get on the? Where did the houseboat come from? Where did they get on it?
from?
And then why is Eva why is Monica in there? And then wait, they have enough of a relationship to kiss on the mouth now? Was that
No,
their
they
first
don't.
kiss?
And so to answer your question, I think Peacock lives on the boat, but the boat is anchored at the car shop that Tej owns, which is where Poman Rears is staying.
they never showed us that boat.
Let me tell you this though. I think Peacock works at that garage because he's got coveralls that say his name. They say Conan on the front of them, and on the back it says Tej's Garage.
But here's the thing. Roman asks to crash on his couch and he says no. And he tells him to crash on Tej's couch, but Brian lives in the backyard of Tej's house.
It's so bad. And then like they were like, we need to get a distraction so she can get out of here. But the whole time that Tyrese is doing this distraction, they're like, no, we need the distraction so we can have dialogue.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to run right
But
now.
also, where does she go that they don't see her?
No idea.
Did she jump into the water?
I was waiting
She
to hear a
swims-
splash.
She swims underwater the whole
way home.
Yeah, it's really.
She actually
amazing.
comes up through the pool filtration system
Yep.
at Bad Guy's house.
Can we talk about the gun standoff that happens right after that?
Oh, it's so weird.
When each of them, like someone has Tyrese and then Paul, and then it goes from Spanish to English, and Paul Walker is freaking out.
Yes.
But then Carter walks up and he's like, y'all stop that.
You're being silly billies."
boys. Like there was
Yeah,
no
that was just the strangest thing to me, and it felt a little bit. We touched on this last week. It felt like just further confirmation that I almost forgot his real name, Brian O'Connor. Brian O'Connor, the character, is just a wish fulfillment placeholder. Like he's a Mary Sue. He's like good at everything, never does anything wrong. Everyone always loves him.
Yeah.
And he always gets what he wants in the end.
But apparently not, because, and I feel the need to point this out, which it feels redundant because we've already talked so much about characters, but I'm going to ask this question. Why is Eva Mendes in this movie?
Yeah, I don't know, because is she in the movie to hold the shotgun on Carter at the very end?
Yes.
It's really the only thing she did.
And they were like, oh, but we're gonna have to prove, like, why would we don't have enough reason for her to turn on him. She needs to be undercover too.
She like gets them in, quote unquote, with Carter, but apparently he was just kind of holding open auditions for that.
Also, I think the first 2 or 3 minutes of the movie, Objectification Station, as the chapter is called on the DVD, probably tells you why Eva Mendes was in this movie.
Yeah.
Just because she's
Hey,
hot.
that's a good tagline.
Well, come on, random swim trunks.
yeah.
Random. Here's a dress. Forgot to tuck my bra and stuff inside of this.
Natch, of
You know,
course.
it's like
I mean, let's not pretend we've not all done that at some point,
yeah,
though.
I regularly leave my bra just
no, I
just
definitely,
peeking,
Just flapping
peeking.
in that
I definitely,
breeze.
I haven't.
Carter,
I've never done that.
express yourself more. I demand it.
So we've kind of moved past this, but I don't know when to. I don't.
Just go back.
Our structure has fallen apart.
Throw it in reverse and hit the gas.
We're just
pedal.
going with the theme.
We're just going with
Well,
the series.
Yeah, honestly, this movie, I was struggling thinking of how to talk about this movie in order because I genuinely believe if you cut this movie at any random point and put it back together, it'd make equal sense.
Guys, I have awful news for all three of us.
Tell me.
None of us have said our super pump.
That's what I was
'cause
about to do.
We actually haven't gotten to mine yet.
I'm just about to say my super pump, and it
Go
is.
for it.
It is a super pump, not of objective merit and quality, but of relative merit and quality.
Sure.
Meaning it's not great, but it's good for this movie.
Sure.
And that is Roman Pierce. He was, to be honest with you guys, just about the only entertaining character in this hour and 49 minute.
And even then, he had
extravaganza.
some pretty nauseating.
Oh yeah, it was
lines.
bad.
Oh.
And it felt like
Woof.
as a straight white male, I feel as though I don't have a whole lot of room to get offended on people's behalf. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
It was so clear to me that all of the dialogue was written by one white dude in a room who was like, "How do gangsters talk?
Yeah.
I'll write that down."
Yeah.
Yes. How do cholos talk?
Yeah,
It's
and
just
I
all
feel
these-
like Roman was a big victim of that. But in
Yes.
spite of that, Still really enjoyed
Hey,
the
it's
performance
good
of the
for you,
character.
Tyrese.
Yeah.
You're about to get paid for the next 15 years.
Yeah, for
Like,
real.
Well, he
Way
had,
to go.
some goofiness to him that was refreshing.
That's what I loved. Like there was a little bit in him, a little bit in Bilkis, right?
Bilkins.
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 Let's say
Which
Bilkis is like
which-
an Egyptian goddess.
Bilkins sounds like a name that a computer AI would come up with for like a last name.
Hold up, Bilkins is the chief or
Yeah.
the guy from the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So he's my super pump.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because somehow, I started knocking how we said early on, like the graphics and the CGI sucked, but somehow they were able to get Shaquille O'Neal's thumb to play a character in this movie. And it was Bilkins. The name of Shaquille O'Neal's actual left thumb is Bilkins. This one over here is Bilkins. So that was my Bilkins, aka Shaq's thumb, in a Hawaiian shirt, was my super pump.
Just
Too
because
Fast
you
and
wanted to tell that
Furious.
joke.
Yep. This is what you get, stupid movie. I'm using you for my personal gain.
The whole time I'm watching Bilkins in this movie, I'm going, could they just not afford actual Reginald Vell Johnson? Like, is he that expensive that they had to go with off-brand Reginald
Yeah,
Vell
this is
Johnson?
replaceable, I
This is
think.
all,
Replaceable.
dude. And here's the thing: I think we're having a hard time even being funny about this movie because it is that bad.
It's really bad.
It's terrible.
Like, it's so bad it's hard to joke about. And I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to our time. I don't know how close we are to the end. I would imagine it's pretty close.
Nope. 10 minutes left.
Oh, yeah.
This, dear listener, we have now transcribed into your brain our experience watching this movie. Where we said, surely we're almost done. And we
Well-
said, nope, there's more.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to skip to my super pump for this movie.
Do it, please.
And then I say we spend the remaining time jumping around like this movie does and just hitting the important bits.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
AKA what we've done for the first half of this. And by half, I mean more than half. I hate myself.
No, go for it.
My super pump for this movie occurs within the last 20 minutes. And it's because it is the only time in this movie where I was like, yeah, something happened. Genuinely.
Is that your Paul Walker
And it-
impersonation?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Something happened.
I said, forget about it, cuh. My super pump is the execution of the plan at the end.
Okay.
Of switching cars, everybody driving out all at once, the trucks coming out, and like for sure everybody there got arrested.
baby. And I wish Denny's would have picked that up.
Yeah.
So many people.
Come into Denny's for our new Furious Scramble.
It's a scramble, baby.
100 eggs and 100 Hot Wheels police cars.
Here's the thing. Every single person there got arrested. So that game plan was, hey, you guys are all going to do some pretty serious
You
jail
really
time.
owe us. I'm sorry, man. You owe me and Suki.
Yeah.
Like what?
And
Yeah.
But the actual moment where the song starts and like a dozen garage doors come up and all the trucks come out,
Cool.
for half a second, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they ran over the cop cars.
Yeah.
And then Paul Walker goes, hey, let's hit the road.
Yeah.
They leave.
But he hits the road armed with his magic walkie-talkies.
Yes, I was gonna say perfect
So
segue.
let's start talking about these
to
walkie-talkies.
the walkie-talkies.
Walk me and talk me through these walkie-talkies.
Somehow it's actually the walkie-talkie, the walkie-talkie itself, like the tangible thing, is really only there for show because the communication is
It's a Star Trek
it's implanted in your
technology.
brain and no one else can hear what you're saying. Surely.
Let me tell a story to segue us into this. When I was a young lad, in order to go around my neighborhood and play with friends, I wasn't old enough to have a cell phone. So we bought some like long distance walkie-talkies so that my mom could tell me when to come home for dinner and check in on me, make sure I wasn't dead.
me too.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
There were these little blue guys that went for like 3 miles or something.
Ours were
like that.
yellow and black.
But were they? I think we might have had the same ones because my neighbors had yellow ones.
Oh my gosh.
And we would always go to Channel 14.
Were we neighbors?
We might have been. This was in Georgia. Did you live in Georgia next to me?
No, but
But close. But here's what I'm saying. I used to jump on the trampoline with my neighbor friends and have that volume halfway up. And there was no mistake when my mom would come on and go, hey, it's time to come to dinner.
Yep.
And
Like ringing a bell.
Sitting in a car.
I was about to say, hypothetically, if your mom had called you and not said, Jordan, come to dinner, but had said, hey, Jordan, push all your friends out of their cars.
Yeah, plan is a go. Everything's a go. Boom, boom, baby. Here we go. Get to the spot. If that's what my mom had said to me,
Would your friends have heard it?
I think yes, from a trampoline about a dozen feet away. And so from the passenger seat of a car 3 feet away from me, and that's generous,
Yeah.
they definitely would have heard it.
So
So Carter's answer is the only possible reality here.
Yep.
Which is they all have essentially cochlear implants that allow them to hear their walkie-talkies with nobody else hearing them.
At this point in the movie, though, when these magic walkie-talkies are introduced, I was so beyond caring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and to be frankly honest with you guys at the table, all of our listeners, all across time and space, I was so beyond caring the second that I pushed play on this freaking movie.
Yeah.
You know, I had high hopes for the first 15 minutes, not for a good movie, but for a fun experience.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what the first movie shaped up for me. It was like certainly not objectively a good movie, but it was a blast to watch. But yet somehow this movie failed to deliver even on fun for me.
Yeah. That's a fair estimation of my experience watching this movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first one more.
Yeah.
I can say that much.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I was to have a more legitimate super pump, what I'll pump, because I'm not changing my mind on what I've done.
Don't. I love it.
What I will pump is I did think we were going to get some chemistry, some legitimate chemistry for when he's doing the stare and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was like, oh, it's palpable. Like
Yeah.
that was okay. I feel that.
Yeah.
That's all we had.
And Roman was funny there too.
Yeah.
He's like,
was.
did you do the stand
Yeah, that was
drive?
mine.
He took that from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that the first one had in it, I think.
Yep.
Of like this back and forth. You know what? That's the perfect word, was like, at the very least, even in the depths of the pits of the first movie, there was some fun chemistry between some of the characters that made it like at least funny sometimes. Maybe in spite of itself.
Yeah.
But still funny.
Yeah.
But this movie, again, I can't stress enough. I think this is my third time saying it this episode. This movie, if you had told me that this movie was a passion project made by some college freshmen diehard fans of the series that happened to live next door to Paul Walker growing up and got him for it, I would have believed you.
Yeah. It was just so bad.
And I feel like we're really circling the drain towards rating this movie.
Let's
just do it.
Let's just
So
do
let's
it,
just
man.
do it, right?
Let's hit that nos and
Let's
blast
hit
into the
that
ratings.
downhill juice.
Yeah. Can I go first?
Well, first I have to lay out the system for him.
Nah, I don't think you do. It's a stupid movie.
We here at Two Chunks and a Hunk have a perfect rating system. It's called the Scientific Cinema Scale, and it is as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it. Don't lend it.
We don't need this
Buy
one.
Buy that poster.
The next best thing we can say about a movie is buy it. The next best thing we can say about a movie, rent it. The next best thing we can say about a movie is stream it. The next best and second worst thing we can say about a movie is forget it. And lastly, the worst thing that we here could ever say about a movie, God hath forsaken us. Who wants to go first?
Me, please. Never thought that I would miss being sandwich crazy. But I do.
Yeah.
God has forsaken us.
Wow.
This movie, and again, I think I'm offended because
Yeah.
I love B movies.
Sure.
And on the surface, that's what this was. But deep down, it made $240 million.
Yep.
And I'm offended.
Yep.
I think it's against the law. It's worse than street racing.
Yeah.
Our podcast is rated PG-13 for talking about this
Yeah.
movie.
Man, we made a mistake.
Yeah, I'll go next. Guys, this is a very, very easy God hath forsaken us.
Yeah, if the first one was that for you, right?
Yeah, first one was that for me. And this, honestly, I enjoyed myself more in this one than the first one.
Whoa.
This felt as if it were ever so slightly closer to so bad it's entertaining territory.
Oh, wow.
Like, I feel like there were more things to laugh at. Like in Fast and Furious 1 and One Fast, One Furious, there were things where it's like, oh my gosh, that's so uncomfortable to watch because you're trying so hard and it's so bad. In this one, there are so many things. It's like, that is absolutely hilarious that you thought this was good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's an easy God hath forsaken us for me.
Yeah. Well, for me, this movie is a God hath forsaken us.
Gosh.
Here's the thing. I miss my buddy. I miss my little guy. Where'd Paul go? Where's the Paul go that I know and love? I miss him. Bring back Paul. And that's really what it came down to for me in this is like the charming second grade t-ball player didn't even show up to play the game for this one. Like, I don't know what happened, but I stand by. I think every person that was in this movie should be ashamed that they were in this movie.
I know you're missing Paul a lot.
Yeah.
I have bad news.
Oh no.
He's not in the next one.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, really?
No, he's really not.
Wait, he's the main character.
Not for the next one. He's not.
No one
What's
we've
the-
ever seen yet
is in the next one.
is in the next movie.
So it's a spin-off.
Well, the tires do spin. Yes.
If it's a spinoff, though, they're still keeping count because you're going to get Fast 5 after the 5th one.
And there's some characters that come back
Yeah.
from this next one later on.
This is not a bit. I genuinely had no idea.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I have less motivation to watch a new movie about characters that I don't care about.
You will see zero familiar faces.
Well, I mean, it's just like
Except
it's
for
just
one
like,
at one point.
I mean, honestly, it's just exactly like Game of Thrones. You're just going episode to episode. Like, who's that?
I've
Who's
never
that?
seen that person at
I
all.
thought you were about to say it's just like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which honestly, it's like if the Marvel Cinematic Universe was bad.
So
Because
DC?
this is well, it's like if DC was allowed to continue making bad movies ad nauseum. Like
Yeah.
this is, we haven't even talked about this. This is the longest running franchise
Outside of James Bond?
outside of James Bond. Franchises with like the same actors playing the same characters the whole time.
Is it really?
Name one longer.
Harry
The
Potter.
MCU?
Nope. This
Harry Potter's the same number of movies.
It was
I'm
8.
talking in number of years, not number of movies.
Oh,
Oh.
because 2001 to 2017, I think, right? 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 16
Yeah.
years. Like there's not a franchise started in 2001 unless you count, I guess, Fantastic Beasts as part of Harry Potter, which I don't because I haven't seen those because I don't want to.
I didn't. I thought you meant movie number.
No.
And we're
Okay,
not counting
number of
Star
years.
Wars.
I guess.
I hear
Star
where you're
Wars
coming
counts,
from.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
then,
But-
this
but
is
this is
doing
one-
things historically that it shouldn't have been allowed.
Doing things that those kind of long form, big, like cultural juggernauts do, and it's all crap.
Yeah.
Like it's all so bad.
Well, and I think there are a lot of people, and one of those people actually posted on Facebook. So this will kind of serve as a substitute shout out for Caleb Moore.
Caleb.
Thanks for
Caleb
shouting us
Moore.
out. Caleb would love to hear you scramble to defend this movie. I think people mistake box office number for good movie sometimes. Because there are a lot of people that like I know adore these movies, and don't get me wrong, I haven't seen 5 through 8, and I haven't seen Tokyo Drift or 4 since I was like, I think I saw 4 the week it came out in theaters, and haven't seen it since.
oh no.
And I just went with friends, but like, hopefully it does get better.
I think it will.
I don't think there is no defense of this movie.
Yeah.
No, there's really not.
There just isn't. So, Caleb, hopefully you're listening and you are furiously typing on your phone
And fastly.
and fastly and furiously typing on your phone.
He's
to-
walkie-talkieing his wife right now. It's like, you're not going to believe what they just said.
Is there anybody around you that could possibly hear me on this walkie-talkie?
Gosh.
So, should we do some shouties?
Yeah, Caleb, you're our first shout out. I also
There
want
you
to give a big chunky shout out to Stacy Johnson.
Stace.
Stacy wrote us a very nice email
thanks,
about
Stacy.
10 things I hate about you. She said, P.S. Why no Deadpool review? And to that, all I say is stay
Maybe
stay
someday.
tuned. Maybe
Yeah.
one day. This
someday.
is legitimately not a promise, but stay tuned.
We can't promise anything, but always a good suggestion.
Yep.
Maybe so, perhaps, maybe.
Thanks, Stacy.
Also, want to give a shout out to Ryan Krisman. Ryan commented on our Instagram and said that The Fast and the Furious are his favorite movies of all time.
Yes. And
I do know that's true about him.
he also said that if he could marry any character from any movie series ever, it would be just a car. So thanks, Ryan.
Wow, okay. You think he would just like see the car and just kind of start kissing it and being like, Mrs. Carsey.
Mrs. Carson.
Mrs. Carsey.
Well, I know that at his wedding, the song would be
Mrs. Carson.
Here Comes the Ride. That's
Oh, that's funny because I thought it would have been pump, 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 pump it up. Just over that played 3 different times in this movie.
Did it really?
Yes.
serious?
Pump It Up played 3 different times.
There was a song in this movie that I think was written for this movie because the lyrics kept being like too fast, Too furious.
I remember that
Too
movie.
fast.
That song.
Too furious.
Yeah.
We also got a comment on Instagram from Jesse Iwuji. His Instagram bio says he's an athlete, NASCAR, driver of number 36 at Perfect Hydration, and number 34 at BBMC_mortgage.
What?
Chevy, U.S. Navy officer, DHA, the sports agency, and the Bible verse, Matthew 25, verse 23.
Are you reading his comment?
It's about cars.
No, this is his Instagram bio.
Oh.
His comment is yellow thumbs up emoji, black and white checkered race flag emoji.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
Appreciate you.
You're a verified account, my boy.
Hey, that's our first sponsor.
Jesse. He started following us. Guys, this episode and this series and every episode we've done before, we're the official podcast of Jesse Iwuji.
Until he hears Too Fast, Too Furious.
Jesse, in all seriousness,
we lost our funding.
Thanks for listening. And in all likelihood, thanks for just commenting on something with a hashtag that you follow. So if you want to hear your name here, if you want to be as big of a sponsor as Jesse Iwuji,
Literally interact with us in any way.
That's all it takes.
We are so lax about the shout outs right now. If you text me and you're like, I loved the episode, I'll probably just be like, hey, shout out to my mom.
if you text me and you're like, don't you have a podcast? I'll probably shout you out.
so I guess by that nature, shout out to Casey Pruitt for admitting that he's never listened to our podcast.
Yeah, Casey, have fun never
He'll
hearing
never
this
do
shout
it.
out.
On the off chance that you started this episode.
So if you want to be here, you can post on social media with the hashtag #OfficialChunky. You can go to our website, which is under construction now, but you can still send an email to us with your pumps and dumps for any movie that we've talked about or any movie that we're about to talk about. Yeah, that's how you.
We are laughing more at our outro stuff than throughout the rest of this episode.
That's fair
This movie, a common saying is inch deep, mile wide.
Never heard it go.
Really?
Go on though. Yeah.
Like a pool an inch deep and a mile wide.
Oh,
Like it
yeah,
covers
shallow.
everything.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
I
so
got you.
shallow.
Yeah.
This movie was an inch deep and an inch wide. Like there's just this movie you can take your fingers and be like, boop, oh, got the whole
That's
thing.
the whole thing. Yep.
Gosh.
I'm done. If you are a fan of our show and you want to help us out in a small, and by small I mean enormous way, go on to iTunes, Google Store, any place that you get this podcast.
It's called Google Play, you Apple elitist.
It's not my job to cater to the peasants.
I visit the Google store. You take that back.
You called it the wrong thing just now too.
You're worse
Krator.
than street race.
If you want to help out our podcast a ton, what Jordan is trying to say is that anywhere that you download our podcast, you let's say it together, you may leave us a review and a rating. These different stores, they have algorithms that push shows to the top with. Are you laughing because I said algorithms? That's an algorithm. It's when the sun shines through an algorithm and it makes a rainbow. It's an algorithm.
Nice.
These stores have these gorgeous algorithms that they push shows to the top that have lots of reviews and ratings. So if you want to spread the chunky news about our podcast, that is the best way to do it.
Yep.
Also in person, like talk to people.
Yeah.
That's a good thing too.
Please.
So I guess that's it for us. Obviously, next week we're going to be talking about the masterpiece.
Oh, bring it.
The faster piece.
Oh, I like.
Fast and Furious
Tokyo
Tokyo
Drift.
Drift.
Yeah. I was not fast nor furious enough to catch y'all on
That's
that
true,
one.
but that's okay.
You'll
That's
get it
fine.
next time.
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo-
It still feels like
Tokyo
I
Drift.
said it.
I'm both excited and terrified to watch this one. It's going to be great. I think the only thing left to do is just say like, peace out.
What's your favorite flavor of gasoline?
Waited.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go with black cherry.
Oh. Mine's just gas. I'm a classic guy.
Oh,
I'm a gassic guy.
interesting. Well, that's our podcast. So I guess
That's our whole thing.
see you later, cut.
See ya, cut.
Talk to you later. Call.